So Sasha has a riddle. There are two numbers, okay? The sum of the first number, which we're just going to call x, and twice the second number is 14. When the second number is subtracted from the first number, the result is 2. What are the two numbers? And you can kind of see earlier I highlighted some stuff and I messed up the equation. So the sum of the first number and twice the second number is 14. That sentence is going to tell me my first equation to solve this problem. The second sentence, which I highlighted in blue, I'm not really sure if you guys can tell the difference between the colors, but I tried. When the second number is subtracted from the first number, the result is 2. Okay, so that's going to be, that sentence there is going to be our second equation. So it says the sum of the first number and twice the second number. So I know I have two numbers added together, because that sum equals this other number. Okay, so the first number, you can kind of see I wrote an x. I'm going to call the first number just x. Okay, and twice the second number, so we'll call the second number y. And so twice of y, which is just 2 times y, is a keyword for equals. That's kind of why I put an equal sign over top of the word is, 14. Okay, now the second equation says when the second number, not numbers, is subtracted from the first number, the result is 2. So I know I'm going to have two numbers subtracted from each other equals some other number. Okay, so it says when the second number is subtracted from, so my second number, I called that y. It's actually going to go in the second spot because it's being subtracted from the first number, okay? And the first number, we call that x. And the result is 2. So that means it equals 2, okay? So now, wonderfully enough, I have two equations, and now you guys remember how to solve these, okay? So really, the setting up is the tricky part now. Once you have it set up, solve it, okay? So I noticed that the y's, one's positive and one's negative, so I'm going to make my life easy and just multiply my bottom one by 2. And then if I distribute this, I get 2x minus 2y equals 2. And I'm going to bring down this equation here from the top. It doesn't really matter what order they're in, as long as you have both of them written properly. Okay. When I combine like terms, top to bottom, I add the equations. 2x plus the x is 3x. My y's conveniently cancel, which is what I wanted to happen. And 2 plus 14 is 16. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. Remember that. Which gives me 4 plus 14, which is 18. Okay, so remember 2 times 2, you got to distribute every piece. Miss Oswick made a slight error there. Okay. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3 to get x by itself, so x equals 6. Okay. Now that I know what x is, how do I find out what y is? Remember, you take one of your equations, and I'm going to take the top one just for easy's sake. Remember, x is 6, so I'm going to plug in 6 plus 2y equals 14. Subtract 6 from both sides. If you like your dotted line, you can do that. So I get 2y equals 8, divide both sides by 2, and y equals 4. Okay. So once you set up the equation, solve it like you've been doing. And solve it correctly, not like I did the first time. Alright, hopefully this helps. Oh, I'm sorry, we have one more to go to. Okay. It says the difference between the length L and the width W of the side of the box is 4 inches. The side has a perimeter of 52 inches. Find the length and width. So again, this first sentence here, the difference between the length L and the width W of the side of the box is 4 inches. So my two variables are L and W. Okay. The side has a perimeter of 52 inches. The shape, I think it's supposed to say. Sorry about that. Find the length and width, okay? So we need to know a couple things. First off, the first equation is relatively easy. It says the difference between the length L and W of the side of the box is 4 inches. Now the length is always longer, right? So I know my first equation is just L minus W equals 4. Now they usually do a fancy L. I don't care how you write your L. If you just write it like a regular capital L, that's fine. Okay? Now the second one is a bit tricky because it says the shape has a perimeter of 52 inches. Okay? Now, whenever you're dealing with length and width, that's a rectangle. Okay, unless they tell you it's 3D, then it would be some sort of cube shape. Okay, so does anyone know the formula for perimeter? If you don't, it's always 2 times L plus 2 times W equals perimeter. And in this case, the perimeter is 52. Okay, so it equals 52. Because you have 2 length sides, right? If I look at my rectangle, this is the length, this is the length, this is the width, this is the width. So 2 W's plus 2 L's, or 2 L's plus 2 W's equals your total perimeter, right? Okay, so that's where that equation's coming from. So they just kind of expect you to know that, all right? But now I've set up my 2 equations. Life is easy. I noticed that the W's, one is positive and one is negative, so I'm going to multiply the top one by 2. So I'm going to distribute it to every piece, not like I did in the last one. So I get 2L minus 2W equals 8. Then I'm going to rewrite this nice bottom equation here. Okay, and now the work should be pretty easy. 2L plus 2L gives me 4L. My W's cancels, equals 8 plus 52 is 60. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And I happen to know that 60 divided by 4 is 15. So my length of my rectangle is 15. Okay? And they said 15 inches, so I should write inches, because that's good to always have your unit. Okay? Now, if I know what the length is, how do I know the width? And that's plugging and chugging. So I'll plug it into my first one to make life easy. So I have L minus W equals 4. Again, I just choose one of these top equations. So I have 15 minus W equals 4. So you can think 15 minus what gives me 4? Or subtract 15 from both sides. So this is where a lot of you made some errors. So negative W equals negative 11. So then I divide both sides by negative 1, so I get W equals a positive 11, okay? A lot of you would have written negative 11, so you need to make sure you bring that negative sign down with you, okay? So my width is 11 inches, okay? So 15 inches in length and 11 inches in width, okay? Hopefully this helps. I don't think I gave you an exit slip today because the problems were a little bit longer. So good luck, and we'll try some problems together on the board. Have a great day. Bye.